Veer viewed the world through a cinematic lens. He spent weeks drafting a James Bond-style heist to recover papers from his aunt's house, convinced if he followed the tropes of a movie spy, reality would bend to his will. But physics doesn't care about movie tropes. Scaling a drainpipe is a clumsy, agonizing process of torn skin and strained muscles. And as soon as he breached the window, the silence of the night was shattered by a high-decibel security alarm. His friends, who were supposed to be his tactical support, fled the second the siren wailed. Left dangling from a ledge with no backup, Veer was caught by his own family before he even touched the floor. When you treat a physical threat like a pop culture fantasy, you ignore the gravity of the risks. That lack of preparation doesn't lead to adventure. It leads to immediate, humiliating capture. His relatives didn't call the police. Instead, they realized a desperate nephew was more valuable than a prisoner. They offered him a choice: force his mother to sell their ancestral home or face the consequences of his crime. The threat was specific and lethal. They warned that old wooden mansions are prone to accidental fires, making it clear that his mother and sister would be inside if he didn't deliver the property by the end of the month. To protect his family from the intense greed of his own blood, Veer needed to secure 3 crore rupees. The stakes were no longer about proving his bravery. They were about preventing a murder. With the 1-month deadline looming, Veer returned to Dr. Khurana's lab. Finding it empty and unable to wait for a formal briefing, he stepped into the teleportation booth and slammed the red activation button. The booth immediately turned into a pressurized trap of shifting lights and thick, multicolored vapor. Panic set in as the air became heavy and the entire structure began to vibrate with a violent mechanical roar. When a person is backed into a corner by a life-or-death threat, the fear of the unknown becomes secondary. Veer chose a leap into a potential void over the certainty of losing his home to fire. He emerged into a world that defied Earth's geology. Massive rock formations hung suspended in the air like clouds, while the vegetation below pulsed with a soft internal light that made the entire horizon glow. The peace was short-lived. Out of the glowing brush, a charging chimera, part lion, part rhinoceros, bolted toward him. It was a predator designed for a high-gravity environment, moving with a speed Veer couldn't hope to outrun. A spear whistled through the air, striking the beast and buying Veer a few seconds of life. A warrior on horseback, face hidden by a hood, swept in with twin blades to finish the job, proving that in this world, survival is reserved for the lethal. Before Veer could speak to his savior, the air rippled. He was yanked back through the portal, stumbling onto the cold floor of the lab as Dr. Khurana screamed at him for his recklessness. Awe is a luxury Veer cannot afford. To survive Titan, he doesn't just need to appreciate the landscape. He needs to acquire the brutal competence of the warrior who saved him. Dr. Khurana began a furious lecture on responsibility, but Veer didn't flinch or argue. He stood in silence, the adrenalines in the alien world still coursing through him. Veer explained the arson threat against his mother. The mention of his family's lives changed the air in the room. Khurana realized his student was now driven by a cold, desperate necessity rather than a search for adventure. With the countdown to his mother's safety ticking away, Veer's hesitation vanished. He wasn't playing a game anymore. He was preparing for a mission where the cost of failure was a funeral. Within Devasram, survival requires biological harvesting. To match Titan's predators, hunters kill aliens, absorbing their energy as gene points. It resembles a video game, but the consequences are final. If that leveling meter drops to 0, there are no save points. The death is permanent. Modern Earth technology fails completely under Titan's physical laws. Electronics and gunpowder become useless weight the moment you cross the portal. With high-tech sensors and rifles gone, travelers are forced back to basics. A well-forged steel dagger is your only reliable tool. To defeat the modern corruption threatening his home, Veer has to go backward. He must master the tools of the ancient world to survive a landscape that recognizes only strength and cold steel.